All right, we talked about the fact that HUD is the enforcing agent or the overseeing agent of the Fair Housing Act. If you make a complaint or you feel that there's been a violation, you would make this to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Now, what I'm going to tell you now, in the real world, Indianapolis has its own version of HUD. So if there's an Indiana violation and you make a complaint to HUD, they will actually kick it back down to the state level, all right? But what you need to know is some of this stuff here. You have 1 year to make that complaint, by the way. If there's been a violation, you have to make a complaint within 1 year of the aggrieved action. When you make that complaint, you would make it to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. There is the address right there in the book on 356 if you want to file a complaint. Once that complaint has been registered, HUD has 100 days to determine if there's actually going to investigate it. Is there really a complaint? Is there a violation here? So they have 100 days to review your claim. If they determine that there is reasonable cause or a reasonable cause exists, they will go to both of the parties up front, and the first thing they try is this thing called reconciliation. Reconciliation. Hug it out. Tell him you're sorry, you won't do it again. Do you believe what he's telling you, yes or no? If both parties agree to reconciliation and HUD buys off, actually it's called conciliation, but it's reconciling the two people. If HUD buys off, then that's the end of it, all right? So that problem goes away. Like the runner example, if they come back and go, hey, let's talk this out, what do you think? Well, I meant running, I'm not racist by nature, yada, yada, yada. I was trying to make a joke about something else, and the guy goes, okay, I think I understand what you're saying, and everybody's fine with it, then HUD drops it. If HUD doesn't buy off on it, or either party doesn't buy off on it, they would go in front of what's called an ALJ, the Administrative Law Judge. The Administrative Law Judge is the worst judge in the world because they are the judge, the jury, and the executioner all in one. All right? They listen, they determine the guilt or innocence, or not guilt, and then apply the penalty. Now, in this particular case, HUD has defined the penalties for us, but an ALJ is the one that still is going to do the whole thing. There's no court, there's no jury, there's no peer of your superiors or inferiors or whatever, peers. I always said that you're going to be judged by a jury or your peers. I don't trust those people. I want people better than me to judge. If they find you guilty, $19,987 for the first offense. That's a big fine. Call that $20K. For 13 bucks, you're 13 bucks short of $20K for your first offense. The second offense, $49,467. Over double. And then the third offense, let's call it $100,000. If you have your third fair housing offense within 7 years in this business, you probably need to rethink your job career, all right? If you have your first one, you might want to take a kind of self-look at what's going on. Now, I don't understand why they make you, but I will tell you there was a question about the amount of money. Somebody told me that there was a question about how much was the second or third violation. I will also tell you that this has changed. When I started this, the first offense was like $11,000. So to have you guys memorize this seems stupid to me, but somebody said there was a question that specifically asked how much was the penalty for which fine. All right? Just remember, it gets worse successively. Like I told you, we have a state and local HUD department. If there's a violation here in Indiana, HUD will kick it back down to the state level. The state will take care of their own. So we do have our own section here in the state of Indiana. It's actually down at the federal building right here in Indianapolis. If your client gets threatened or, God forbid, has violence taken upon him or her based on one of these 7 protected classes, you guys also have the same protection as well. So if your client files a suit, hey, I couldn't buy the house because they said they're not going to sell to the Martian, you actually can attach a lawsuit to that because you've been harmed as well. I want to be involved in this lawsuit. So as a white male, I could file a sexual discrimination. If I have a female client and she feels like she needs to file, I can then file too. Same with you guys. We have the ability, because we are an extension of our client, and typically we are harmed as well, we can adjoin their lawsuits. Now, what does this mean for you guys? Here's what it means. You guys can actually lose your license out of the gate. They do not play around. If there's a court case and it's a civil rights court case, if it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, it actually goes straight to federal court out of the gate. It bypasses all of the local courts and goes straight to federal court. So if there's ever a race case, it's a federal court right out of the gate. If you are involved on the wrong end of that race case, you can be punished punitively. Punitive damages. Punitive means I want them punished. Guess how much? Unlimited amount. Unlimited. Theoretically, you can be sued for $100 million if you violate the fair housing, specifically on race, because it goes to federal court and it's an unlimited punitive damages. Plus, they're going to take your license from you. So you are going to lose your ability to even pay back that money or keep your family in clothes and food. It's not, they don't joke. This is a very serious topic to the government and to a lot of people, and it should be to everybody. But there are huge implications for you as professionals. So there are penalties, plus you lose your license or could lose your license. And remember that the offense was unintentional is no defense. It's not an intent law. It's an effects law. Any questions about fair housing? I would remember the 7 protected classes: race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status. All right.